Hey everybody, we want to welcome you to Heart to Heart,
Hi, everyone.
and we're looking forward to sharing with you today. We're sitting back thinking, wow, how much more can these Watchtower people handle? Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean the changes. I know you've all heard of the beards, and that they're allowed to have beards again, but this is one of many of Watchtower's attempt to reinvent itself. And the reason they're trying to reinvent itself is because the old way of doing business isn't working anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Suit and tie, you know what I mean? The whole regimented thing, hours and control. And it just, people can't do it anymore. Nobody has time. It's an old paradigm that's needed to die a long time ago. But I just wonder, how much longer, how much more can they take? I just wrote down a few things that's happened in just, the past few years, like the selling off of halls by the thousands, the hours, you don't have to turn in time anymore. We shrunk the meetings. By the way, we don't have to, we don't have the book study, or it's abbreviated, or the Watchtower is abbreviated. But we were told when we were in there to not use the world to the full. We were told that do this stuff that they're doing all the more so as you behold a day drawing near, the not forsaking the gathering of ourselves together. So we didn't miss meetings. We were going to make more meetings. We were going to more hours, more. And now it's like less, less, less. And it's interesting because it wasn't long ago I had a guy that I knew who was a witness, and I was walking down the side of the road, and he said, "Hey, Dan, it's easy now." And I was like, "Easy?" He goes, "Yeah, it's easy. We don't have to do this and we don't have to do that." And I went, "Wow."
I was there.
But now it's like, could you imagine the same brother coming up? "Hey, Dan, now we get to wear beards. Jehovah said we could wear beards, Hey, Dan, now we don't have to turn in time." And hey, Dan, and I'm thinking,
but hey, Dan, they sold our Kingdom Hall, but guess what? They got us a little metal mobile home across the street from it. It's easier now. It's like, a guy committed suicide just after this beard thing was now changed. And somebody committed suicide because he just couldn't take all the changes.
Yeah, these guys are freaking out. Like, what's Watchtower doing? What's they going to ask us next? We remember too. I know I've brought it up, but I have to bring it up. But Stephen Lett, saying children would be an enemy of Jehovah. I just think they're using some of these governing body. They're just using them as tools to push people away. Like, I would have left if I was a witness. If my wife was in there and they said babies were an enemy of Jehovah, that would be it. I would think a third of them or more would have said, "I'm out of here." They wouldn't have justified his thinking. They've had too many babies. They love the smell of a baby. They love to hold a baby. They bonded with their baby. So I'm thinking that they would tell Stephen Lett to kiss my ass and get out of here, you freak. You're a freak. But I think Watchtower is using these guys. You don't come out the head of an organization like Tony Morris and say, "Won't you be glad when they're all dead?" I know I've talked about that before, but that's one of the changes. "Won't you be glad when they're all dead?" That would push away a percentage. And now it's the beards, that they can have beards. And could you imagine the wife going, "You ain't shitting me. You ain't going to wear a beard, are you, after all these years?"
And Dan, here's the thing. Just like Eric, this one guy that's on 6 rings of the Watchtower all the time, is complaining, saying, what was ever wrong with beards? Jesus had a beard. That was his big complaint.
Their literature shows people with beards.
Right. And Moses had a beard. Jesus had a beard. Moses had a beard. Look, Rutherford apparently allowed beards, and apparently he had one. No, wait. Who was it? The guy had the beard.
Not sure.
Somebody had a beard, and then I think it was Rutherford said, "No more beards, no more this, no more that." He changed it all up. So how come it was God's organization, and God said it's okay if you do this, 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 and that, including keeping Christmas back in the early 1900s? The witnesses kept Christmas, guys. Wow. I don't know. And then suddenly
some man came
and said, "No more this, no more beards." Whoever that was, it was the head of the church at that time, and I forgot. But whoever it was, he said, "No more." He had a beard and he didn't like it, and he was always complaining about it. So as soon as that guy died, and he took it over, then he said, "No more beards." So now here we are back again. So I just want to tell you, I am not an ex-JW. I'm an ex-Worldwide Church of God, run by Herbert W. Armstrong and Gunnar Ted Armstrong. And I'm going to tell you, it's the same in really, guys. It's every church, especially the hardcore cults. That was a cult listed in the cult book, says right after Jehovah's Witnesses. In the book, Dan said to me, "Angela, I think your religion was a cult." His pastor said it was, and I think it really was. And I'm like, "Oh, brother, So anyway, we go into this bookstore at Barnes and Noble, and Dan opens up this book, and sure enough, in this 2 books, it had Jehovah's Witnesses listed as a cult, and right next to it was Worldwide Church of God. And I'm like, oh my God. And
It's
then
called Kingdom of the Cults.
Yeah. And then there was another book, and in there, sure enough, right next to JW's is Worldwide Church of God. And I thought, oh my gosh. But here's the thing. It was the same in there, where, you can keep birthdays. Now you can't keep birthdays. Well, now you can, but just not as seriously, just be sure you don't let the pride get in, da, 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 da. Now you can wear makeup, and this year you can't. Okay, well, now you can again.
Kosher foods, unkosher
yeah,
foods.
this is, whatever. It's like, you can't. Changing the rules that fit them. You can't go out on Friday night, but then the leader goes out on Friday night, dances with his daughter, not his wife, his daughter. And then a guy in there says, aren't you supposed to be, keeping the Sabbath day holy? I thought I heard you say that on a broadcast. Oh, well, aren't you worried about it? He said, someone's going to catch you. Oh, no, I've got him so well trained, this massive church, that they're never going to see foot.
They're trained to go to church on Saturday while he's out at the club.
Right. Friday night is sundown. Saturday night is the end of
so he's having a good time, but he said, I got them all trained. They're all in church right now.
Right. So not church right now, but they're at home safe and sound on
a
Friday night.
Sabbath.
Friday night, sundown hits, and then you better not be working or be found outside of these doors. You're at home safe and sound. So he's like, oh no, they'll never catch me. Oh no, I'm safe and sound. Dancing with his daughter. Then come to find out he was molesting her for years and years and years, having sex with her. And so, you guys, look, we're following the dictates of men. And look, the Mormon church had a woman, she was fully educated, somebody that we worked for and did her kitchen. And she said, yeah, well, I was educated, and I forgot something very wonderful. And they said, what we've chosen as the leaders of this church is that you're going to work in the, what's it called again? The thrift store that they have, the name of it.
Yeah.
The Deseret.
Yeah.
Deseret is the name of the Mormon thrift store. So she was told that she was going to be working at the Deseret as a manager. So she did this for years and years, and still is to this day. Never used her education.
And the point of it is she had a PhD.
Right.
And one of the Mormon guys walked by. He's probably in a walker, right? And this dumbass old man, I'll call him, he just walks by in his walker, and he goes, I think you'd be good working at our free store, Deseret, and you could sell, free stuff. And so me and Angela, so she tells us about this wonderful career that she had. And we said, well, did you make any money? And I think it was like minimum wage. And I said, what about your career? What about the schooling you put in? She goes, nope. When daddy says, to go, that you were chosen, because just one man has the authority, right?
Yes. In each organization,
like a bishop or something,
in each church, I guess you'd say, they tell you where you're going to serve, where you're going to work. They pretty much control you. If you don't want to do that, well, that's too bad. That is what you are told by the leadership that you're going to be doing with your life, and that is what you do. And so you don't argue, and you just do it. You guys, is that any different than JW's or Worldwide Church of God?
Right.
No, we're following men
yep.
that
it doesn't matter. They
break the rules.
Yes, and they'll tell you to go on a missionary trip. They'll tell you, we want you to go on a missionary trip out of the country.
Oh, yeah. No,
and you'll literally have to shut down your home. I'm not witness to this Mormon, but you literally shut down your home, have someone live in it or find somebody to take care of it. And you go on the Mormon trip for 2 years. Right. I mean, somebody else says it and you just follow the rules. Well, we all know this is what's happening in Watchtower, that they're reinventing themselves. The old paradigm didn't work, and there's changes coming, and there's more changes coming. And I'm just praying, like Angela, I know, is praying that these people will look in the mirror one day, instead of running out in the street and saying, hey, Dan, they let us wear beards and we get to wear just a regular coat now. And we don't have to wear a suit and tie or a white shirt or, isn't that so cool? And, we get to even wear shorts to church, and, we get to go to dances now. They're letting us do anything. And I mean, eventually you got to look in the mirror and go, have I been that stupid? An org that's put me into a prison camp of their own ideals for 40, 50 years. And now they say, hey, we're going to let you do this. We're going to porn. It don't matter. You can look at some porn. We know that's part of growing up. And that masturbation thing. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's part of adolescence and waking up. Oh, yeah. But could you imagine? This is in the Watchtower. And blood, we're going to back off on that and just make it to where, hey, conscience. You guys know what the Bible said, but we're going to make it a conscious matter. And whatever else they want to say. I thought blood, sexuality, suits, maybe there'll be no meetings, right? We understand that people can't make the meetings because they're in their senior years. So Jehovah's made a provision for that. You can give online, and you can watch all of our videos online at 3 ABN. Well, that's a Seventh-day Adventist. See, they've got it where the old people can stay home and just tithe, right?
Yeah.
Give 10%. They got 4 or 5. I don't know how many tithes.
Many of them never. Our next door neighbors, when we lived in the last town, they were hooked on that. That's all we watched all day long. And I want to tell you what, my dad, that's all. It's up to 24/7, pretty much programming. So my dad,
they gave him an antenna.
Yeah, they got their own satellite dish. And so everybody has one. And if you're a Seventh-day Adventist, you will have a broadcasting
dish.
A dish. And
for their special channel.
And they got
24/7.
Yeah, I think it is 24/7.
It is 24. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So music. Oh, my dad just loves it. They never have it off, it feels
Fair
like.
enough.
The singers, this wonderful music and this wonderful sermon and this wonderful this and that. It's like, oh my God. But you guys look, this is my takeaway from that. We're at 6 screens of the Watchtower online program, and everybody's all upset and all in arms about this new change in the beard allowance now. And so this other guy, David, I'm just going to say his name, rude guy. I don't like him because I think he's very rude, not respectful of the fact that you people, look, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I never was, but I respect the fact that people have been obeying orders for a very long time, and people have died for obeying orders in there.
Yes.
And it's a very sensitive issue. And this guy has no respect whatsoever. And people are fuming. And he's like, oh, you babies, you immature babies. You're just going to moan, groan, and all this. I'm like, oh, here's the thing, guys. I personally think that guy is being used by Watchtower to do damage control. I really, really do. That's my personal opinion about this guy. But here's what they're trying to do. If that is true, what they're doing with this guy, David, is that they're trying to, by the damage control, is to shut down our emotions, to say that, how you stupid people, you're just moaning and groaning, complaining against Jehovah. It's like, no, look, when people have told you to do something and they change their mind, when it meant life or death, it meant relationship ending, it meant getting kicked out of the witnesses, and suddenly it's changed and you're incensed. And here's what it is. It's pulling up emotions of all these other things that they have done and changed and kicked you out and split up your family and, all these things they put under the rug, the sex abuse, my daughter being raped and no one's allowed to speak of it ever again, or you're going to be kicked out and you have to be in the same congregation and don't complain and don't sit by him and listen to him speak on the stage and the whole thing. You don't say anything. If you do, you will not be welcomed in this church and things like that. So we're saying no, no, and no. And we're starting to get our voices say no. And I realized something. If we're supposed to be walking in peace and in God's way of thinking all the time, 24/7, so I'm in joyfulness, I'm in peace, I'm in kindness, gentleness, self-control, all these ways of being in God, and I don't allow any other feelings and emotions to run me. Well, guess what? Life still goes on, and things come up. And things incense you because in your heart, it's wrong. And so guess what? We are not used to doing because we've not been allowed to do it. Speak our mind. Speak our heart. Look, you can't be in peace. Look, I've been turning things over to God, surrendering. And this is what God's pointing out to me. You have to deal with the problems. You can't just let all this stuff clog you up in your heart and your mind and not speak to it and just say, God, take this from me. God, I surrender this to you, and do nothing. No. They say that if this world is going to change, we cannot continue to do things the same way, which is the definition of insanity, that we just keep doing everything the same way we always have. We don't make changes. We don't speak to them. We don't allow ourselves to say no more and no and all these kind of things. We just tolerate it until we're just really living in 15-minute cities. And we're not allowed to move, or we have credit system. We're not allowed to do anything unless we're obeying the rules. And you guys, at some point we have to say no. And at some point we have to say, that is wrong. At some point we have to say, no, you are out of here. You are not going to be an elder in this church anymore. You are sexually abusing your own daughter, and you sexually abuse this other daughter in the church. And so you are not going to be an elder in our church anymore. And everybody writes a letter and they say no more. Instead of just kowtowing to it, and then I have a smile on my face, and I have love in my heart, and I have peace in my heart, and I'm right with God, and connected to God. And I'm
Totally
at
out
peace.
of touch.
And yeah, I'm
Reality.
giving I'm surrendering my emotions to God. Surrender, surrender. Guess what? God is telling me in my heart, no, you have to deal with these things. You have to speak to these things. You have to get some backbone. You got to get some balls. You got to wake up. You got to speak. You can't just put a smile on your face and pretend everything's fine when it isn't. You can't just sweep this stuff under the rug and act like it's not there, like an elephant in the room.
That's right.
You have to get real.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah, that's good points. That's exactly right. And could you imagine if one of the brothers in the hall, one of the elders, was really pissed? You know, he was of the same mind as Russell or whoever, the one who said to shave, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, by God, what the hell are they talking about? You can wear a beard. This ain't no men's fashion show. You know what I mean? The women are probably thinking, boy, this thing's really going male. This is like a male fraternity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but I was just thinking, you know, two things. One is there's going to be people that are really pissed that have had to shave their whole life every day, couldn't go in there even with a little shadow on their face. And then there's going to be the people that comply. But I think some of those old timers, they believe in that clean look, you know, that shaven look.
Do, but,
and it's a whole new image at the door. It's a whole new, imagine a guy, like you said, guy comes to your door in a big beard. But, you know, like Angela said, if one of those guys were to speak up and say, hey, you know, brothers, let's get together here. Let's tell that society they could stick it in their ass. You know what I mean? Really?
Absolutely.
You know, they tell society, hey, you know, you can hang this one, you know, where the sun don't shine. You know, the way, you know, you've told us for 50 years or 100 years or whatever. I don't know how long it's been. You know, no beards. And now you just say beards, just flippantly say beards. You just flippantly sell our halls. You just flippantly, you know, say no hours. You know, you just flippantly start asking for money and tithing. You know what I mean? It's like gross. It's like Angela said, if they had a voice, these guys would sign a petition and go in there, they'd shut it down. Absolutely. They wouldn't let Watchtower completely reinvent itself and take on almost, it's just like any other church now.
Yeah.
It's going to be just like any other church. You might as well put a cross on the top of steeple and just call it a regular church, you know?
Yeah.
And anyway, but like Angela said, they need to have a voice. But you know what I was thinking when Angela said that? Would the Watchtower care if they did speak up? They just get rid of them.
Yeah. You're out of the church.
And they wouldn't care if they're 60 years old and went out and sold watchtowers, sold the truth every day, sold this watchtower idea every day. They wouldn't care.
What if everybody in the whole congregation of 60 people just up and left, just quit?
I think they'd be happy because they own all the Kingdom Halls. Remember, they sold all the Kingdom Halls back for $1.
Yeah.
So Watchtower owns all the property, all the Kingdom Halls. They'd say, you old farts, go to your retirement homes. We don't care about you. That's what they'd say.
No one saw the writing on the wall there, guys.
And I want to tell.
They don't own those buildings. You guys own the buildings with the sweat off your own backs and your own brows and your own labor and even materials. And they just took it for $1. Sold it back to the church, and now it's in their name to do with as they please. Every one of them.
That's
guys,
right.
Oh my God. And so they're changing their name all the time, you know, from whatever it was, Watchtower Organization to whatever, now the org. and so that they, you know, when they get sued, there's nothing to sue. That company is long gone.
Yep.
Yeah, it's out of business.
That's right. So it's going to be gone. Even Quinn was talking about, he was looking at the governing body members, and he was looking at a new picture of Stephen Lett. And he showed me an old picture of him. And the new one looks like a clone. Could you imagine if the Watchtower cloned themselves? I mean, they're doing it everywhere now.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, they could clone themselves where the people wouldn't even know that they were looking at Steve Lett. It's just a clone working his mouth.
You're right.
They're going away. The governing body's going away. Either they're going to retire them or they're going to replace them. This whole thing's going to be reinvented.
Did you see the Barbara Anderson's beard on CNN?
Oh, yeah.
It was a blonde. Somebody else did one the other day of a dark
beard. An AI of it.
Yeah, but it was an AI. The Barbara Anderson said on the internet of Stephen Lett with a blonde beard, you know, and mustache. Yeah. AI put on there, you know, it's AI.
Well, I want to shift gears a little bit. I just want to talk about, I just want to make this a little shorter today, but I want to talk about an upcoming show that's coming up.
All right.
And I just want to say that if you're a PMO, you won't be a PMO for long. Or if you're a PIMQ or whatever the hell, you know, label that's out there, you're not going to be it very long. When you see this interview coming up in January, you're going to freak out. I'm telling you, you're going to freak out. when you see this type of attorney that Watchtower is using to defend them, who is a liar, a thief, he has stole, he has lied, he has covered up pedophilia. This is a big, big time attorney. And his sister is going to be coming on 6 screens of the Watchtower. We're going to be interviewing, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be interviewing this lady in January. She's got to get some attorney representation because she's dealing with an attorney, a 7-bar attorney, which means that he has a bar in 7 different countries. So he's Watchtower's
allowed to do work as an attorney in 7 different countries.
Yes, and he's in 7 different countries. He defends. I've actually heard that he's reversed several cases and this and that. So his sister, think about this, guys. His sister is coming and going to do an interview with us and going to tell you who he is, going to show his picture, going to show you all the documents. She has documentation. Apparently she has video. She's got letters written to Bethel.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with what he does for a living. It's something completely different.
Yeah, so. And it's okay. But the main thing is you're going to see rotten crap exposed. You're going to see rotten, dirty crap exposed. The bottom, you don't get any further down than this. No. We've already heard the story, me and Angela. You don't go any further down than this. And this is Watchtower's top man that they say, go in there and reverse that. We owe $1 million. Get that turned around. And he goes in there and he turns it around. Yeah. She says, I'm going to take him down. She's going to work with the Royal Commission, Australian Commission. Canadian. I mean, she is going to go after this guy and she is going to do some damage, but she's going to come on. But I'm telling you, if you're sitting on the fence, you're wondering, should I, is this the time of the end? What if they're right? And you're you're ping-ponging this thing back and forth in your mind. That's over.
Yeah, because honestly, I truly do believe that she is going to be able to nail this guy, and he will not be an attorney anymore.
No, he won't.
When she's done with him,
he will be done. He will be done for.
And the witnesses will be ashamed.
And they'll be ashamed, and it will be broadcast far and wide. It's probably going to get media attention. I will see if it gets media attention. I will be working on media attention, because this is worthy of media attention. And this guy's got to go. This is bad blood. Bad man.
His ass off.
Yeah.
All the time in court.
Yeah.
And it's time for it to be over.
And we're not,
God has seen it.
Yes. And we're not trying to say like we have something we don't want to tell you about.
No.
We're just saying she has to get attorney representation.
Right.
She talked to Barbara Anderson and she's like, oh my God, don't say anything until you talk to, Zoltan or one of these law firms or whatever. So, but when she comes on, you will see her face. You will know her name. You will know her brother's name. The top attorney for what? You will know it all. It's all coming out.
I think he's the top attorney. We don't know.
He's one of them. He's definitely one of them. And so when people see how rotten he is, that Watchtower would even consider using a man like this, and knowing now Watchtower knows what this man's doing. They've been told. They've been written to. They've been written to. And he's as smooth as can be. And apparently when this guy was talking, this lady almost just vomited. It was so sickening. She says, he's got to go.
Yeah.
And so this is a powerful show coming up. Please pass this on. Let people know this is coming up in January.
Yeah. Not that the court case will be in January, but the fact that she's thinking she'll be able to say it in January anyway. When she talks to these attorneys, she'll know about when, and it could be that she's going to be on a hush-hush for even longer. It's possible, Dan. So we probably won't be able to bring this. It's possible that she'll say, I can't say anything right now. Point. It could be that it could hurt the court case. It could be that she'll be told that you can't say anything.
Yeah, you're right.
So, we may not be able to speak about
it. But it's guys, it'll just make you like, like if you had a second dollar, you're wondering, you'd be like, overdone.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, I think that's.
I just want to say one more thing. Yeah. Okay, see the decoration for Christmas right here.
Oh, gingerbread house.
I gingerbread house. And I saw this picture and I had it up here. I was going to show it of this wonderful, this, what do you call it, band, and you have the parades, the bands at the parade. Mm-hmm. And they have pretty purple lights on all their outfits, and they're with their instruments marching down. We were not allowed to enjoy that when I was a kid. In the Worldwide Church of God, if you saw something like this, or you saw the pretty Christmas lights on, and you don't go to parades, you don't go there, you don't go down the street and enjoy the beautiful lights and say, oh, how pretty that is. Instead, we had to point and say, abomination, abomination. Imagine that. because it was pagan. So I was talking to my brother, who is still in the Worldwide Church of God. Essentially, it's United Church of God now, but that's where he is. That's where they all went mainly. And so he's in there, and I said, "Hey, David, you should go to Botanical Gardens and enjoy the beautiful lights." They have beautiful light thing in Denver, Colorado, where my brother would go to. And he goes, "What? Oh no, that's pagan. I would never do that. That's worshiping, what, blah, blah, blah." Okay, all that stuff, you guys, you know what I'm going to say.
A light
right?
bulb is pagan.
Right, a light bulb pagan.
Colored light bulb.
So I said, and he goes, that's like worshiping, the Satan. Like, I said, "David, I'm sorry, but I don't see anybody worshiping the tree." And he specifically talked about the tree, because in Worldwide Church of God, it's all about the tree. Because in the Old Testament, they would cut the tree out of the forest. They would go and stand it up, secure it, and put, things, and then they worshiped it. It was their God. And so I'm like, "David, I'm sorry, but I don't see anybody worshiping. I don't see anybody going to the, Botanical Gardens and worshiping." But look, he couldn't even enjoy this.
Oh no.
He can enjoy it
because it looks like bulbs.
Right. Yeah. You can't enjoy the lights anywhere. There's a beautiful yard that's not right next to you with no Santa or anything even. You can't enjoy that. And so it's like, I'm sorry, but I've been doing some research on it. And I'm going to talk about this soon to give a little bit more detail about some things that were not shared with us. But I'm like, this is not the same time. And there are a lot of reasons why I realize now that why I don't feel at all bad about worshiping at this time of year the Lord for what he's done, for Jesus coming in the flesh and doing what he did and all that. And there's a great joy about it. I mean, hey, the angels came from heaven and a light shone and started things. It was really an exciting day. And it heralded with great, I would think instruments and trumpets and great joy, glad tidings, goodwill to all men, because something wonderful has happened on the darkest day of the year. Because the darkest day of the year is when you are hoping for the light the most, when we're in the deepest darkness. Suddenly, spring comes. It begins to come. Around December the 25th is about the day when the darkest night of the year. And then right after that begins the light. The light has come. Right. Rejoice. And so, look, we perverted it. I'm sure Satan wanted to pervert that time. But truthfully, something wonderful does occur at that time. So anyway, you can make it whatever you want, but I do not worship trees. No. And I do not worship the ornaments on the trees. No such thing. I don't see anyone doing that. Do I think it's a gloriously godly, holiday? Well, if you want it to be, it is. Do I think that all the shopping and the commerce and all the greed is good? No, I don't. Do I think it's great that people get depressed this time of year because they don't feel loved? No, I don't. However, at this time of year, people's hearts are open. They want love from God. They want to see the love of God. They want to see the kindness of God. They want to receive gifts. Look, didn't you want to receive gifts as a Jehovah's Witness?
And me as a worldwide. I remember people would just make us a thing of cookies, and we'd go, "Wow, oh my God, cookies!"
See, you didn't feel bad about it, did you? No. You had, my family, we had to feel guilty for taking the presents from my grandmother. God forsake, whatever you do, don't put any Christmas paper on there. My parents would be thinking,
Oh yeah.
But we really shouldn't be opening these gifts. And I remember my parents saying, "No, we can't accept those." I remember something that happened one time when I was little where we couldn't accept that. It was painful. But anyway, I just want to say, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later on. But look, we're not worshiping trees, guys. We're not. That was the point of why God was angry about that in the Bibles, because they were taking that tree and making it a god.
It's like you said, you make it what you want.
Yeah.
It's like owning a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you don't shoot people with your gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You hunt, shoot at targets. Yeah, to say everyone who has a gun is a murderer is like saying everybody who has a tree with some bulbs on it is a Satanist.
But we're worshiping the sun, sun god, right? Because it's the winter solstice.
That was our line. The sun god Saturnalia,
That's right. But here's the thing: at that same time, the Christians back in that time when all that was being done and was kind of popular, I guess you would say, they were like researching when was Jesus born exactly. This is the early church, and they that went on for years trying to decide that, and no one really knew exactly, but they knew from John the Baptist's birthday that it was about March 20th, like somewhere, and that made sense to them because it was a time of spring when the light came and springtime, and then so that was when he was conceived, and then you go 9 months later, exactly, it's December the 25th. Oh, wow. And so they kind of settled on that. And when the winter solstice goes until the 21st of December, okay? So then when they started kind of thinking, well, it's about the 25th, it makes sense, the darkest day. And so they started making, that was his birthday. That's what they settled on finally. We're going to kind of commemorate Jesus's birth at that time. And this guy, Aurelian, Aurelian, I think that's the spelling, pretty close, dang close to that. He said, you know what? Knowing that it was around 287 AD after Jesus's death, and he says, okay, you know, we're gonna have a big celebration on the same day that they started saying that's the day we believe that Jesus died, right? Yeah, yeah, we're gonna make that the pagan a wonderful celebration. They got drunk, like smashing drunk, big, huge, you know, at the end of the solstice thing, 21st, and then 4 days later, he decides on that 25th day to start having this drunken celebration that I forgot what they called it now. But anyway, that became this. And so after that, the Christians are like, we don't want anything to do with that. So they just, for a long time, nothing happened and no one celebrated anything. It was not anything special, but then some king kind of brought it back by special occasions that were they celebrated on the 25th and had a wonderful celebration. It kind of started again, and Christ became, you know, kind of began to be central. And there's been different things to try to turn the paganism from pagan worship of the sun god to worship of the Christ, son, a righteous son of righteousness. Remember that song, Hark the Herald Angels Sing? It says, hail the son of righteousness. It's spelled S-U-N, S-U-N, son of righteousness, because he's dawning the light for mankind. That's beautiful to me. And so there is a correlation between the equinoxes and the timings of winter being over and spring coming and the birth of Jesus and his conception. And God uses those times. So, you know, of course, the enemy is going to come and sort of paganize anything that's holy, right? Or anything that's good or anything that brings light. Oh, yeah. I mean, God brings seasons. Point. And so he's capitalizing.
Who's the killer of light?
Right.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
So we're not allowed to focus on the son of righteousness.
Nothing about light.
And so, you know, I think it is more important, his death and his birth. But you know what? I think it's wonderful because look, the angels celebrated. They were saying, rejoice, goodwill to all men, heralding the day. Hark the herald angels sing.
A bright light came into the world.
Yes, a light is coming to the world. And so I don't think we should feel so bad about it, guys. Men have done this to us. They have put these clamps on us. They have made us feel guilty. They are making you say what you think and say what you're doing and call it evil. And I'm not buying it anymore. These men are not going to control me. I know what I'm doing is right before God. I know that I'm not worshiping a sun god. I know that I'm not worshiping a tree as my God. I know that I'm not worshiping the ornaments on it or any such thing. I am giving. I'm giving and of light. I'm the light of this world. The Bible says we are the light of the world. And so is the Son of God. S-U-N, son of righteousness.
Yep.
So, and S-O-N too. But anyway, I'm just not buying it. So I am going to not have any guilt for making things like this. I made this with our daughters several years ago when they were younger.
Nice little family time on it.
Yeah, we made this together. And why should you feel bad about this? It's something to do in the winter time when it's dark and bright lights, you know, lights that are the light of the world. It's like we need light when there's darkness in the winter. And so I think it's a wonderful time of joy and giving and love. And what Jesus did is glorious and wonderful. And anyway, I just want to say
that Angel loves lights.
I do. In fact, you know what?
Lights candles.
I did a Christmas album. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's probably messed up in the light, but Inspirations of Christmas. Inspirations of Christmas.
There it is. Yeah.
There we go. Inspirations of Christmas. And it's got 16 wonderful songs on it. Hark the Herald Angels is one of them. And anyway, there's wonderful songs on there because I love Christmas so much because I couldn't celebrate it when I was a kid. And when I found out how much love that God is wanting to put out in this world through this time of year, because people are open to love like no other time, wonderful time of opening hearts. And so let's do that. Let's make cookies and give them out. That's what God put on my heart to do. And that's what I'm doing this year, actually. And I'm taking candles and cookies to my neighbors, everyone. So anyway, that's it. I love y'all.
All right. We love you guys.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Merry Christmas. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.